Ride the signal through the unknown. This is the cryptic current.
The doctrines of Confucianism, Buddhism, and Taoism in ancient China all highly emphasized the concept of the unity of heaven and humanity. Observing celestial phenomena above, understanding geography below, and comprehending human harmony in between. And this type of thought further evolved into the ancient secret art of Feng Shui, also known as Kan Yu or Shang Di. It was mainly used for tomb repair and house construction. Feng Shui holds that all things and beings exist within a corresponding system of earth and heaven. If one can establish a bridge of interaction between humans and the universe by altering the environment, then greater principles or energies can be achieved. Humans thus become prosperous. Although due to various reasons, Feng Shui has gradually declined in modern society today. Green dragon on the left, white tiger on the right, red bird above, black tortoise below. Sitting north facing south, Feng Shui treasureland, white tiger by its head, household. These, in fact, all fall within the scope of Feng Shui and all ancient Chinese architecture. The Forbidden City in Beijing truly lives up to its reputation as the pinnacle of Feng Shui layout in the history of Huaisheng. Today, we will talk about the ancient architecture that has existed for over 600 years and the Feng Shui secrets behind it. Feng Shui from the Forbidden City. Hello everyone, I am Miss Ruby. The Forbidden City we see today is precisely the Forbidden City, the residence of 24 emperors from the Ming and Qing dynasties. It was built during the reign of Emperor Dongle of the Ming dynasty, starting in 1406 and completed in 1420 after the palace was built, taking 14 years to complete. The Forbidden City is located on the central axis of Beijing, measuring 961 meters north-south and 753 meters east-west, comprising 9,999 rooms. The architectural area is 155,000 square meters, with a total area of 725,000 square meters, featuring yellow glazed tile roofs. The Forbidden City is separated from the outside by a blue moat and red walls. This is the largest surviving palace-style architectural complex in the world, sacred and solemn, symbolizing imperial power. Historical events that occurred in the Forbidden City have been recorded in great detail, but the only regret is that documentation about this magnificent architectural complex is sparse. So much so that who exactly designed it remains unclear to this day. Most believe that the chief designer of the Forbidden City was the outstanding craftsman of the Ming dynasty, Hui Shang. After the fall of the Yuan dynasty, Zhu Di, the Prince of Yan, who was entrusted with governing the Fengtian region, rebuilt the existing architectural complex on the foundation of the Yuan Palace, known as the Prince of Yan's Mansion. In 1402, Emperor Yongle Zhu Di seized the Ming dynasty's throne from his nephew Zhu Yunwen, becoming the third emperor of the Ming dynasty. At that time, the Ming Palace was still located in Nanjing. In a fire, Zhu Yunwen burned half the palace and then disappeared without a trace. The uncertainty of Zhu Yunwen's fate became a source of distress for Zhu Di. Additionally, upon ascending the throne, there were still some courtiers who firmly supported Zhu Yunwen. Moreover, the weather in Nanjing was very humid, causing Zhu Di sleepless nights and making him miss his days in Beiping. Therefore, in 1406, Zhu Di summoned some courtiers to discuss moving the capital to Beiping. Officials began surveying nationwide, searching for stone materials and rare woods. Legend has it that at that time, the renowned craftsman Hui Shang became the designer for the new capital plan of Beiping. Hui Shang had exceptional calculation skills. When building pavilions and halls, he could quickly produce accurate designs without error for mental calculations. The planned new palace not only had to be grand and practical but also incorporate Feng Shui, the 5 elements, Yin Yang, and astrology to bless and protect the nation's prosperity. In the early stages of construction, the first consideration was how to suppress the lingering energy of the former Yuan dynasty. Zhu Yi ordered the complete destruction of the Prince of Yan's mansion, and the old architecture of the Yuan dynasty also vanished into smoke. After demolishing the above-ground structures, workers excavated the foundations of the Yuan Palace, rebuilt them with new tanned earth, and manually filled them in. The later rising palace was precisely the Forbidden City, which overall covered the entire Yuan Palace. In 1420, after over a decade of effort and millions of laborers, it was finally completed. On the first day of the first lunar month in 1420, Yang will officially move the capital. Forbidden City. Ancient people took the North Star as the center, dividing the starry sky into three parts: the purple forbidden enclosure, the supreme palace enclosure, and the heaven. The central part of the starry sky is the purple forbidden enclosure, where the purple star, also the North Star, governs all. Legend has it that this is the residence of the heavenly emperor. The most distinct feature is the 15 stars on the east and west sides, forming two walls that encircle like a city wall. The western wall is formed by 8 stars, and the eastern wall by 7 stars. The wall symbolizes the heavenly emperor's forbidden palace, so each star forming the wall is named after an official title. Additionally, the Taiwei enclosure and Tianxi enclosure respectively represent the loyal ministers close to heaven and earth, and the territory and common people ruled by heaven and earth. Starting from the Qin and Han dynasties, the ancient imperial palace was modeled after the Zhui enclosure, the dwelling of heaven and earth, and called it the Purple Palace. Because the imperial palace was a forbidden area, ordinary people could not enter without special reasons, so it was also called the Forbidden City. Purple Palace plus Forbidden City is precisely the origin of the name Forbidden City. The construction and site selection of the imperial palace first needed to consider whether it formed a wall. The wall has two meanings. One refers to the celestial phenomena in the sky, and the other refers to conforming to the Feng Shui terrain corresponding to the layout of the Purple Forbidden City, whether in heaven or on earth, symbolizes supreme wisdom. Ancient people, by observing the orientation of mountains, vegetation, and rivers, identified the energy field projected by the Zhui enclosure onto the earth. As energy converged, directly speaking, the dragon. In Feng Shui, a crucial feature of the Zhui enclosure layout is the natural screen formed by surrounding mountains on all sides. This type of high-mounted screen is similar to the wall behind the Zhui enclosure on the east and west sides. Among the 4 great ancient capitals of China, Xi'an, Luoyang, and Beijing all have high mountains surrounding them from the front, forming a wall-like layout. Only Nanjing belongs to a mountainous area. The mountains are not high and are interrupted in the middle, failing to form a wall layout. Therefore, dynasties that established their capitals in Nanjing often face this. China's dragon veins originate from the Kunlun Mountains and extend to various places. Among them, there are 3 dragon veins: the Northern Dragon, Central Dragon. The longest is the Northern Dragon. The city of Beijing lies precisely on the north. The dragon vein originates from the Kunlun Mountains. Ancient people believe the Kunlun Mountains connected with the primordial energy of heaven. Thus, it is like the energy ascending to heaven. Therefore, the Forbidden City possesses the primordial energy of heaven. Where there is a dragon vein, the dragon's lair must be found. Many may have guessed that the dragon's lair of Beijing is located within the Forbidden City. However, the Forbidden City is so large. Where exactly is the dragon's lair located? Quite a few people might guess it must be under the grandest hall, beneath the Hall of Supreme Harmony. But in reality, that is not the case. Overall, the Forbidden City can be divided into the front court and the rear quarters, also called the outer court and inner court of the rear palace. The front court is located in the south, where the emperor held court, representing Yang. The rear palace is in the north, where the emperor and his consorts rested, representing Yin. If the layout of the Forbidden City is aligned with the Zhui enclosure, Taiwei enclosure, and Tianxi enclosure, then the front court, the workplace, likely corresponds to Taiwei, symbolizing the ministers. The emperor's resting place would naturally be Zhui, and behind it symbolizes Tianxi. Thus, the dragon's lair must be in Zhui, which is where the emperor resides. Many people know that the Palace of Heavenly Purity is where the emperor slept. So, is the dragon's lair located in the Palace of Heavenly Purity? Between the Palace of Heavenly Purity and the Palace of Earthly Tranquility, there is also not very conspicuous, which is the Hall of Union. It is situated precisely on the dragon's lair, and this palace was built by Emperor Jiajing of the Ming Dynasty. Emperor Tajing was deeply devoted to Taoism and naturally paid great attention to Feng Shui, and the location of this Hall of Union is also very special. In the Book of Changes, the Qian hexagram in Yin Yang belongs to extreme Yang, and the Kun hexagram belongs. The Palace of Heavenly Purity is Qian, belonging to Yang. The Palace of Earthly Tranquility, therefore, the Hall of Union, belonging to Yin between them, is located where Yin and Yang intersect, implying that Qian and Kun harmonize, bringing peace to the world. Emperor and Empress harmonize, ensuring stability and warmth. In this way, with harmony and communication between above and below, the country can achieve long-term stability. Having discussed the special aspects of site selection for the Qing Forbidden City, the location of the dragon. Next, we will talk about the Feng Shui layout of the Qing Forbidden City. Overall, the Qing Forbidden City is situated in an environment of yin-yang harmony. Most people probably know that the Qing Forbidden City has a central north-south axis. Behind this central axis also lies many mysteries. We will discuss this point shortly. And in fact, there is also an east-west dividing line within the Qing Forbidden City. This is the road connecting the Longzong Gate and the Jingyun Gate, passing through the Qianxin Gate Square. This upper dividing road is called the Longjing Road. Earlier we mentioned that north of the Qianxin Palace is the Emperor's resting palace and harem, belonging to Yin. South of the Qianxin Palace is the area where the Emperor works, belonging to Yang. Thus, Longjing Road divides the Forbidden City into two yin-yang parts along the north-south direction. Looking at the architecture west of the central axis, there are many martial towers, martial halls, celestial watchtowers, and Shuangwu belonging to Yin. The architecture east of the central axis includes many literary towers, literary harmony halls, evergreen pavilions, and so, the Forbidden City is divided into another yin-yang pair along the east-west direction. In previous videos discussing the Book of Changes, we also mentioned that Taiji gives rise to Lianji, which are yin and yang. Yang is represented by one long horizontal line, yin by two short horizontal. The combination of yin and yang, Lianji further gives rise to Xixian, Huang Taiyang, Shaoyang, Shaoyan, and Xixian and Lianji combine once more to form the Bagua. Corresponding to the 8 basic natural phenomena: heaven, earth, wind, fire, mountain, marsh, water, and thunder. The intersection of Longjing Road and the central axis divides the Forbidden City into north-south and east-west yin-yang poles, precisely the Xixian structure. The outer ring of Xixian includes heaven, earth, sun, moon, 4 altars, and guardians, combined with the 4 great watchtowers of the Forbidden City to form the Bag. The Dongzi River encircles the Forbidden City, gathering the qi of this yin-yang bagua throughout the layout, forming a perfect small cosmic world. Historically, many major cities had outer rings built with protective moats. The Dongzi River, on one hand, served as a solid, heat, and high defensive moat. On the other hand, it also met the requirements of storing wind and gathering qi mentioned in Feng Shui. And it is also a common saying in Feng Shui: qi rides the wind and scatters, but is retained by water. Meaning that vital qi disperses with the wind but stops when encountering water. Additionally, the Feng Shui structure of the Forbidden City has 2 extremely important elements: Wanshui Mountain and Jinshui River. When building the Forbidden City, Ming Emperor Yongle utilized the old foundation of the Yuan dynasty's palace, along with new soil dredged from the Dongzi River and construction waste piled up, creating an artificial mountain behind the Forbidden City, named Wanshui Mountain, which is today's Jingshan. Wanshui Mountain is narrow north-south and long east-west, resembling a screen protecting the Forbidden City from the front. When building houses, great attention was paid to Feng Shui, having a bright hall in front and a backing mountain behind. The ancients wrote, "North wind blows through, houses decay and doors break." Wanshui Mountain blocks the attack of the north wind. Its peak faces the central axis of the Imperial Palace, protecting the Dragon Lair, guarding the Dragon Lair, enabling the imperial lineage to endure for. Additionally, beneath Wanshui Mountain is the Yanshan Pavilion, the former imperial palace of the Yuan dynasty. Ming Emperor Yongle used a hill made of way to press down on the bed of the previous dynasty's emperor, also serving a suppressive function. Furthermore, the dragon vein of Wanshui Mountain closely coordinates with Tianshu Mountain from afar. In front of Tianshu Mountain lies a vast plain with no usable mountains. Thus, Wanshui Mountain, when erected, became the dragon vein on the flat land, a special qi formed by Tianshu Mountain's dragon vein entering the ground, linking with Tianshu Mountain to function as a conduit to heaven. Therefore, the completion of Lansley Mountain can be said to kill 3 birds with 1 stone, truly a masterpiece and a high stroke. With mountains, water is indispensable. In the burial book of Guo Pu, it is written, "The method of Feng Shui. Obtaining water is supreme, soaring wind is It says water is the primary important element in Feng Shui. When the Ming Dynasty designed the Forbidden City, it channeled the Jinshui River from Lansley Mountain from the northwest, meandering southward, passing through Donghua Gate, and finally merging into the city moat. Architecturally, the Jinshui River served functions of fire prevention, flood control, and climate regulation for the In Feng Shui terms, Lansley Mountain and Jinshui River surrounding the Forbidden City achieve the effect of harmonious mountains and waters, Yin and Yang harmonizing in Feng Shui. Additionally, the Jinshui River passes between Peiyi Gate and Yu Gate, crossing the road that people must take from outside into the Forbidden City, serving to neutralize and control negative energies. The ancients believed Yin and Yang are the nature of all things. With Yin and Yang, all things possess spirit. From this emerged the 5 main material elements: metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. And the Forbidden City is also composed of these 5 main elements. Viewed from the perspective of direction and position, the Forbidden City is divided into east, west, south, north. The northernmost is Shenwu Gate, formerly known as Xuanwu Gate, conflicted with the emperor. From then on, the Xuanwu Gate was renamed Shenwu Gate and has been used continuously to this day. In ancient mystical beliefs, the north represents water. The color of water is zan, color, which means black. Therefore, inside the Xuanwu Gate, there are 2 architectural structures: the East Great Room and the West Great Room. The roofs are all black. The largest city gate at the southernmost part of the Forbidden City is the Meridian Gate, with the south belonging to fire. Thus, the architecture of the Meridian Gate primarily uses warm colors from the red color system. The west belongs to metal, and metal can generate water, so the western part of the Forbidden City is represented by the Golden Water River. The east belongs to wood, represented by the Wenhua Hall and the Crown Prince's Palace during the Ming. Wood is the beginning of the 5 elements, symbolizing vitality. The Crown Prince's Palace, Wenhua Hall, uses green tiles, symbolizing the youth and vigor of the Crown Prince, full of vitality like spring vegetation. The central position of the Forbidden City belongs to Earth, which symbolizes imperial power ruling the world. Therefore, the 3 main halls of the Forbidden City's front court, Heiyi Hall, Zhong Hall, and Baohei Hall, form the shape of the character for Earth. Yin Yang, the 8 trigrams, Feng Shui, the 5 elements, celestial phenomena. These elements in the Feng Shui design of the Forbidden City are said to be expressed with. But that's not all. The Feng Shui structure of the Forbidden City also contains an unsolved mystery: the central axis, which holds hidden secrets. Rites of Zhou. Straight, in traditional terms, means the central axis must align perfectly with the Earth's north-south meridian line. However, in 2004, something very strange happened. When people took aerial photos of Beijing, they discovered that the Forbidden City's central axis deviates by 2 degrees and 10 minutes from the meridian line. If we include the old imperial palace, from the Yuan dynasty to the Qing dynasty, a total of 33 emperors worked in the Yuan dynasty imperial palace in the Forbidden City. Could it be that they have all been deviating for hundreds of years? But that seems impossible. Starting from the Tang dynasty, people could already measure meridians relatively accurately. So, one explanation for this deviation is that it was intentionally done. Fenjin. Fenjin. Thus, each mountain is divided into 5 fenjin, and the 24 mountains are divided into 120 fenjin. This is also the commonly used 120 fenjin method today. The Forbidden City sits to the north facing south, with the meridian line not reaching 180 degrees. If it deviates 3 degrees to the west, it lies on the Bingzi-Bingwu line, which is the line connecting 177 to 357 degrees. People might ask, why are only 2 of the 5 fenjin lines marked, and the other 3 not? The reason is that ancient people believe the energy veins of the 5 Feng in each mountain are different, divided into prosperous, strong, solitary, empty, and void, the 5 main energy veins. Among them, only the prosperous and strong Feng lines are auspicious, so the inauspicious lines are not marked. Clearly, the Forbidden City's Feng line lies on the auspicious Bingzi Bingwu line. One line deviation Feng, bringing wealth and avoiding conflict. Moreover, the Bingzi Bingwu Feng line cleverly avoids the strong magnetic fields of the Earth's north and south poles while lying on an auspicious line. In terms of Feng Shui, it can be said to be perfect. Speaking of this, one cannot help but admire the wisdom of ancient Feng Shui masters. Finally, let's continue discussing the talismans for suppressing evil in the 3 great halls of the Forbidden City. Taihe Hall is the largest hall in the front court of the Forbidden City, where emperors held grand ceremonies and received foreign envoys. June 2004 marked 310 years since the last renovation of Taihe Hall. The Palace Museum decided to comprehensively renovate this hall, and during the process, an unexpected discovery was made. At the central position above the roof of Taihe Hall, there is a decorative frame inlaid with coiled dragons. When workers entered inside the roof of the decorative frame above, they discovered a talisman for suppressing evil. The talisman aligns perfectly with the Emperor's throne in Taihe Hall. The talisman is about 23 centimeters wide and 37.5 centimeters high, made of pear wood. In front of it, there are other offerings such as incense burners, candle holders, and lingzi mushrooms. But why would such a talisman be placed in the grandest and most majestic hall of the Forbidden City? What was it meant to suppress? Let's go back in time to the 7th year of the Yongzheng reign of the Qing dynasty, which is 1729. In the winter of that year, Emperor Yongzheng fell seriously ill, with the condition recurring over a long period, and by June of the following year, he was even in critical condition, and funeral arrangements had already been made. Close ministers recommended a Taoist named Jia Shifang to treat Emperor Yongzheng. After entering the palace, Jia Shifang performed very well. In less than a month, Emperor Yongzheng's condition showed improvement. However, another month passed, and Jia Shifang was executed by Emperor Yongzheng. The reason was that Emperor Yongzheng believed Jia Shifang's secret incantation methods and massage techniques were truly miraculously effective. But he also used his advanced medical skills to seemingly arbitrarily control the emperor's condition. When he wanted it to improve, it would improve. When he wanted it to worsen, it would worsen. Once, while having Jia Shifang treat his illness, Emperor Yongzheng even heard him chanting incantations. Heaven and earth listen to my command, ghosts and gods obey my orders. As an emperor, the dignified son of heaven, how could he allow others to manipulate him at will? Therefore, His Majesty ordered Jia Shifang to be executed. However, Emperor Yongzheng did not lose faith in Taoist priests because of this. Soon after, the ministers found another alchemist named Lu Jinyuan. Lu Jinyuan specialized in alchemy. After entering the palace, he served Emperor Yongzheng diligently and cautiously, earning credit. In the 9th year of Yongzheng's reign, on August 12, 1731, Lu Jinyuan set up an altar to worship, using talisman and also placed protective talismans on the roofs of the Hall of Supreme Harmony, the Palace of Heavenly, to stabilize the residents, ward off evil, and ensure peace. The content on these talismans was basically the same. The front side was divided into 4 layers from top to bottom. The first 3 layers contained Buddhist, consisting of Chinese translated Buddhist scriptures, combining Buddhist directional deities with Taoism and Tibetan Buddhist mantras. While the 4th layer was the mysterious Taoist Vagua. This talisman combined the divine powers of both Buddhism and Taoism, and it also aligned with Yongzheng's philosophy of integrating Confucianism, Buddhism. Miraculously, after the protective talismans were placed, Yongzheng's illness indeed took a turn for the better. This made him deeply believe in talismanic magic from then on, and he also began using elixirs. And like other emperors, he pursued immortality. According to records from the Imperial Household Department in the Qing Dynasty archive, once Emperor Yongzheng's alchemy furnace was opened, the fire burned continuously for several years after. Over 5 years, Yongzheng issued orders 157 times to transport materials needed for alchemy to the Yin and Yang. A total of 192 tons of black coal and 42 tons of charcoal were burned, turning the lush greenery of Yin and Yang into a barren wasteland. On October 7, 1735, Emperor Yongzheng, who had been healthy, suddenly fell ill and became critically ill overnight. The next day, Yongzheng breathed his last at the Yuan. Yongzheng's sudden and unexpected death later sparked much speculation, one of which was the theory of elixir poisoning. Up to this point, the defensive mechanisms of the Forbidden City have been roughly introduced to everyone. The most distinctive feature of ancient Chinese architecture lies in its integration and harmony with the mountains, earth, sky, and universe. Reflecting the grand spirit and appearance of the architectural owner, many Feng Shui rules may seem mysterious, but in reality, they can find practical bases in real-life living environments. For example, ancient people said that houses should face north-south, coffins should face east-west, and roosters should align with north-south, so that the owner can feel refreshed and live a longer life. Actually, let's think about it carefully. The Earth's poles are oriented north-south. In the human circulatory system, the directions of the aorta and vena cava align with the head-to-foot orientation of the body. That's sleeping direction, blood flow direction, and the north-south direction of the Earth. Sleep quality naturally improves, which also helps prevent diseases and protect health. In pre-modern society, from small village haves to large provincial capitals, everything was built according to Feng Shui principles. Older generations and family heads also paid great attention to the principles of the 5 elements when Feng Shui is absolutely not a baseless study. Ancient Feng Shui masters often roamed mountains and rivers, enduring hardships known only to them. It is a pity that a study combining ancient culture, Yin and Yang theory, architecture, and even astrology has gradually been lost with the passage of history. For ancient people, everything from how to sit while studying, how to breathe, to the coordination of ingredients while cooking was highly valued to maintain daily health stability. Feng Shui in the Forbidden City is an even more profound and magnificent category. It further demonstrates the sophistication and profound knowledge of ancient people, evident everywhere. I wonder what you think about the wisdom of ancient people. And have you ever learned something deeply insightful from that wisdom? Please complete and share with everyone in the comment section below the video. Our sharing session today will pause here. This video useful, Don. Thank you very much. Goodbye and see you again. Subscribe to the Yin and Yang channel so you don't miss any exciting videos.
If the signal hooked you, subscribe and catch the next ripple.